Let me show you how I will edit this picture. First, I'm using the presets that I have. Second, this picture is nice and bright, so I'm going to reduce the overall exposure and then just increase exposure on my subjects. I'm going to increase the vibrance. I like the colors here. Maybe increase the contrast a little bit more. One thing that I want to change here is the neon in the green. So I'm going to reduce the green luminance and yellow a little bit, and then reduce the green saturation. So this is before, this is after. Pretty good. And now for the, so I'll select the subject and increase exposure, increase shadows a little bit, and add contrast. Perfect. And now this lot of brightness here in the foreground, and I want to decrease that, so I'm going to take a linear gradient and reduce the exposure quite a bit, and maybe increase the warmth just a tiny bit. And I'm gonna say minus subject, so that there the subject is not darkened. And next I'm actually gonna reduce tiny bit of saturation so that it doesn't become too yellow. All right, and one last thing, so the light is coming from this side. I'm gonna take a radial gradient, like take a really big, and I'm gonna dehaze it quite a bit, reduce the clarity, increase exposure very minute, maybe just a little bit of yellow. All right, one last thing, this is to add vignette, but I don't want to add the vignette in the place where the light is coming from, but every place else. So now I'm going to invert it and then reduce the exposure there. And close, and I'm gonna see increase the pink magenta a little bit. So this is before, this is after. One thing to make sure, because we're gonna copy it to other places, just gonna say minus subject and minus subject, and maybe increase the warm exposure in subject just a tiny bit more. All right, so before and after. This is in Lightroom. I'm gonna take it to Photoshop. All right, first thing I want to try and see how the color overlay will look. I think okay, so both pink and orange color I'm gonna reduce to 3% instead of, oops, not 93, 3%. All right, so this is the changes in color overlay. Yeah, flatten the layers and Control J. Next, I'm just gonna do a blur the background. make sure this is always at basics right here, and there. Everything else is blurred out except for the subjects. So, but I'm gonna reduce this a little bit. Okay. Next I want to add a overlay. I'm thinking I just want to go with a simple one. So that one and paste. This is basically just adding vignette, nothing major is happening here. And I'm gonna make sure that it is really blurred out so that I remove all the texture. And soft light, reduce it quite a bit, maybe at 30%. Save it, take it back to Lightroom. And here I'm gonna reduce yellow just a tiny bit. Okay, that looks good to me. All right. So this is the complete picture that came from Photoshop, and this is where we started. This was Lightroom before we started editing, and this is after. That's all.